Okay, you're able to see my screen. It's the Word document.
Yes,
Yes.
Satish. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
So
Satish.
I haven't prepared any slides. It is a Word document, running document. I will share the document with all of you so that you can refer any point of time as well. So these are the 3 points which we discussed, which like creating a vision, roadmap, and the technology requirements for a project manager. But before going into that, let me give you the typical GAN or the pointers, the tips and techniques, which the initial context of this session. And then we'll go one by one into this. Okay. The main point, what any point of time for any interview, typically, right? So 20% of the questions will be generic. Generic is like it could be based upon the role, like let's assume Scrum Master or Agile Coach or anything like what is Scrum, what is Kanban, or which version of SAFe you're using, or which tool you are following, or how long you're working as a Scrum Master, all these, or which certifications you're doing. I generally consider them all those 20% as generic questions, which anytime, any interview you go, you will be giving the same answer for the same question. That is what I consider as a generic question, right? Then 40% will be from the job description. So this is the first thing we need to cross-check before applying for any interview. How much are we meeting the pointers or the expectations defined in the job description? And we might get a question, do we need to match 100%? Not at all, need not be required. At least 70 to 80% of requirement should be sufficient. 70 to 80% of match could be a best fit, because there won't be 100% fit any point of time. So even if you feel you are meeting only 70-80% of the job description or the requirements given, you can still go ahead and apply. That is one thing. And make sure you prepare accordingly based upon the job description. We will discuss on that part as well, how we can prepare or how we can get ready for that. Then the remaining 40% will be from our resume, the projects experience which we listed. So this 80% plays a very key role in helping us getting shortlisted for the next level or for the next round. So this is where the 20% generic, everyone, all of us will be answering, all of us will be clearing it up, nothing to worry about it. But this 80% plays a very key role in helping us getting shortlisted or selected for the next level. So let's quickly go through some of the scenarios or the questions, how it is coming up. And another thing is, like when we say 40% of the job description or 40% from the resume, projects or experience, that won't be a simple question. That won't be a straightforward question. That will be like a scenario-based questions. And these scenario-based questions, the complexity could be increasing from round to round or level to level. Right? I will just give one example. What does this complexity increase? Let me take a scenario. For sprint planning, right? All of us know what is sprint planning. So for sprint planning, they will say that product owner is there, team is there, you as a scrum master or project manager is there, backlog is not ready. How do you handle it? Okay, you got the context. The product owner is there, team is there, scrum master is there. I mean, you as a scrum master, project manager, or you as a product owner, all the required stakeholders are there, but the backlog is not ready. So how do you handle that situation? That is a simple complexity question, if you ask me. Then for the to increase the complexity, they might say that team and SM is there, PO is not available, backlog is not ready. Right? You're getting it? So the same situation or the same scenario, they are increasing the complexity. We can't ask that. We can't say, hey, why do PO is not available? Why do backlog is not ready? Ideally, the backlog should be ready. Ideally, the PO should be available. Ideally, the team should be available. Yes, ideal scenario, it is to be there. But they want us to check how much our understanding is, how, if in case the situation comes up in the real time, how well we handle that situation. Yeah. Then to increase the complexity, they might say the next round or the next level team is there, PO and SM are not available. Backlog is not ready. Right? You might ask why PO and SM are not available. What if you both are pulled into some ad hoc meeting with the management? We never know. There is some escalation going on, and you as a Scrum Master and product owner, both of you are pulled into a discussion with the management or with the client. It's a sprint planning time or sprint planning day. What will you do? This is how the questions will be coming up in the interview. When we say the scenario-based questions, the complexity, you are getting the context, right? The complexity, they will keep on increasing from round to round or within the same round, within the same discussion. The moment we give one answer, they might ask, okay, now that you are telling this, what if the PO is also not there? What if you as a Scrum Master is not there? What if one of the key team member is not there? So they will just try to add the complexity to the situations, to the complexity to the scenario. Whether it happens in the real time or not, that is secondary. But this is how the questions will be coming up in the discussion. Yes. Okay. We are good till now?
Yeah.
That's sufficient.
So,
Yes, sir.
And to make a point, there is no right and wrong answer as such, right? So how we are dealing with the situation is mattering.
Exactly. There is no right and wrong answer. That's why I clearly mentioned I'm not giving any answers in this session, because the moment we give an answer, let's suppose if I'm there, you might ask me, Satish, how will you handle it? Or how will you deal it if you're a candidate or if you're the Scrum Master in that situation? I might give an answer from my perspective, right? We can't go and take that and answer the same in the interview, because the moment we give an answer, there is a 90% probability of asking a follow-up question. Until we know the actual context, we won't be able to answer the follow-up question. Right? And there will be a lot of probabilities for the follow-up question. From the answer we give, they will pick up the follow-up question. We can list down the scenarios like this, but we cannot identify, we cannot assume or list down what could be a probable or tentative follow-up question for each of these scenarios. But that's where our individual preparation for interview comes into context. How well we are getting ready, how well we are getting prepared to handle such follow-up questions, not the scenario-based questions. Whatever the answer we give, we need to be prepared for the follow-up question as well. Right? So we are good till now?
Yes, all good.
Yes. So how I generally prepare myself for an interview, or how I will come up with this list of interview questions, right? So I will take a white paper or a book. So let's assume this is a paper. I will start listing down the sprint review, for example, because we discussed one example of sprint planning. I'm just taking sprint review as an example, right? So left side, I will write the date or the day. Right side, I mean the time, then the stakeholders. Then right side, okay. I will add what is input. And then what is output for that specific event. I'm just taking sprint review as an example. So I will just list down day, time, and stakeholders in the input and output. And then here we will start listing down scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4. So let's start listing down all possible scenarios. So the sprint review. For Scrum events, maximum 90% of the cases, there is only one positive scenario. What is that one positive scenario? All the stakeholders are available. All the input required is available. The team attends that meeting or the event, team completes it. The expected outcome is or output is generated. That's it. There is only one happy positive scenario happens in any Scrum event. Apart from that, everything else is a situation. Everything else is a challenge. PO not available, Scrum Master not available, or team is not available, or for the review, the environment itself is not available, or the team haven't completed all the committed user stories. The team completed, but the application is crashing just before giving the demo. So there could be lots of possibilities starting coming up. So how do you tackle? So start listing down based upon your experience, based upon your perspective, based upon your thought process. Start listing down all the possible scenarios. Then start assuming, what if you get this question in the interview? How will you answer that? The third step, based upon the answer we give, what could be the possible follow-up questions? We need to start thinking about that as well. Let's suppose I mentioned the question is the scenario. The question I got is like, for example, the application just before the half an hour before the demo or the review, the application went down. So how will you handle it? Or how you as a Scrum Master take care of the situation? Right. So we might say that I will follow up with the DevOps team, or we will make sure the follow up with the application team and make sure the environment is up and running, or we will follow up and we will inform the stakeholders how soon we will get that, and we might reschedule the demo or review if required based upon the timings and everything. So we might give our own answer based upon the context, right? Then for that, just think about what could be a possible answer, possible follow-up question. So the answer which I gave just now, one of the context I mentioned is, if possible, we might reschedule the sprint review or the sprint demo. Immediately we might get a question. The client stakeholder is not interested in rescheduling. They're not available for the next 1 week. What will you do? Right? So that is again indirectly increasing the complexity for the questions we are getting. For the question answer we are giving. So we never know what sort of question or the follow-up question we might get. So we need to start preparing ourselves before itself. There is one way we can answer or we can handle such type of questions in the interviews. Right? Are you good till now? Or I'm giving too much of theory?
No, Satish, it is good.
So start preparing yourself, start listing down the scenarios. So many times we get in groups, different groups in the one-on-ones as well. Can you share the interview questions? It won't help anyway. It won't help anyway. So instead, this is from the job description perspective, and you need to go back and take a look at your resume as well. From the sprint review perspective, what is that you mentioned in your resume for your projects? Take a look at the keywords, take a look at the statements which you have mentioned, and make sure, if required, you refine or update that statements. If in case you feel you might get too many questions on that, or if in case you are not comfortable answering any questions for that specific statements. One example, I was discussing with Shashank the other day. One resume, for Scrum Master, we got a context stating that the velocity was improved by 50%, not 50%, 70%. There is a statement mentioned in the resume. So we started asking, okay, what's the approaches you followed for increasing the velocity? How long it took for your team to increase the velocity? What's next after increasing that 70% velocity? We started, there's a statement given in the resume. So we started asking questions. After asking a couple of questions, the candidate simply answered, "Sir, I don't know. I just copy pasted this statement from my friend's resume. I don't even know what is velocity improvement." Please take a look at your resumes. Change or refine, revise the statements. Each and every word each and every statement mentioned in resume plays a very key role. That's why I mentioned 40% of the questions will be coming from your resume projects experience. The panelists might be happy or okay, even if we couldn't answer 40% of the questions coming from job description. But if we won't be able to answer the statements which we mentioned in our resume, gone case. We can forget about the next round. Right? We ourselves are preparing the 2-3 pages document, the resume, which is representing us for the interview, for the role. So if we ourselves are not sure what is written, or if we ourselves are unable to justify, explain, why do the panelists has to spend their time and effort for taking our interview? Right? Are you good? Do you all agree with that statement? Anyone came across such situation in the interviews?
No, Satish, not yet.
Sir, can you repeat it once again? I miss you. Can you repeat the
Okay.
scenario, sir?
My question is like, anyone came across the situation where we are unable to justify or explain the statements written in our resume
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
interview?
recently. Yeah. So, uh, as I discussed you earlier,
Please go
one
ahead.
of the organization, and it has to be one of the top-notch organization, in Pune, and this is in Pune. It's a product-based organization. So the candidate, the panelist, and she's supposed to be SPC, and she is looking for one candidate who can run, apart from regular activities of Scrum Master, can run and coach and mentor the quality of the team. So my plus point was I am from quality background, and her question was what is shift left and how you're going to impact the team as Scrum Master. See, the question is coming from my background, right? As that's one thing. When I said ki I really don't know the meaning of shift left, I told entire Ramayana and Mahabharata, but I unable to connect the shift left philosophy, right? So my panelist mocked me like anything, and it is required, right at the time of, it should be there. She said one thing. Shashank, listen, you are from quality background and you are saying that and you have done amazing work. But you should know what a shiplet is all about and how quality is making impact in your, how you as a quality guy is making impact in a Scrum team. What quality works you are going to impact. So it is not an embarrassment, to be honest, because I'm learning from her. That's one thing. Second, I should know that being a quality guy, how you're going to be putting impact. I should know shift right philosophy, how it is going to impact my work as a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, as a mentor to many. So this is many times it happens that your background is going to check, and believe me, even if you write one page of CV, 2 page of CV, you should know bit by bit, word by word, you know, everything has to be very much thoroughly calculated. For example, as Satish sir said, now how you are going to maximize your velocity or improvement by 70%. You should do the maths behind that. At least mug up the numbers so that when panel is going to ask, can you tell me how you got this number 70%? It could be 65 or it could be 55. Why it is 75, 70%? And he asked the second question as a follow up that what is the time duration? So by the time you are going to explain him this length and breadth, I think the panelist will impress you and say, okay, fine, I got my answer. No need to explain much. Let's go to the next question because he has that ability. He found the ability in the candidate that okay, this is going to happen. And if we are not very much prepared, the same statement what he said to the panelist will be totally blank. Even if you do, he's totally blank. Hey, I just copied from my fellow friends, and this is the thing. So he will ask, thank you for the time, and we'll get back to you later. This is my experience. This is a recent time, by the way, in the month of February and March. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Shashank, for sharing your experience. Yes. Anyone else before you go ahead? Okay. So yes, this is the approach which we can start following, and make sure you get prepared the same approach we can follow from the job description perspective as well, right? So when I mentioned 70 to 80%, there will be few, I forgot the word. There will be few concepts or few topics, even if you are not comfortable, or even if you're not hands-on experience, the panelist might be okay. And it's not just the panelist, right? It's about the organization. So the organization or the project or client, they might be okay, but few things will be mandatory. They might be expecting mandatory. So make sure we go through what is the mandatory expectations versus what is good to have expectations from the job description perspective. At the same time, no need to bluff, no need to mug up, or no need to make sure we are just promising whatever they had been asked. Reason, between the interviews, between the rounds, the feedback will be passed on from one panelist to the other panelist. Right. A simple example. Again, this is for one of the Scrum Master interview. So 3 rounds happened. They're doing the 4th round. In the first 3 rounds, the candidate was mentioned that
Sir, I think
he's having experience only for the Zira, but yes, Shishan.
I think we are having some network glitch from your end, I guess.
It's better
We
now.
are losing,
Yeah, we are losing.
right?
Okay.
We are losing it, sir.
Okay, yeah,
we are losing.
I stopped sharing it. There is
Ah.
yes, there is. Now is it better?
Sir, I think your video is maybe. Can you shut your video down, sir?
Glitch
That will
coming
be
up.
great.
Yeah, it seems like your video is in pause. Pause state.
Yeah. Something is happening in the background. Your audio is fine. Your video is not.
Now you are able to hear me?
Sir, loud and
Yeah,
clear.
we can hear you, but your video seems to be paused.
Hello.
You can turn off your video, Satish, I think.
We can hear you better now. You can continue now. Satish.
Yes, sir. Your video, you can stop your sharing your video, sir.
Now we can't hear anything.
Yeah, I think he's going to rejoin. Yeah, Satish will
Okay,
rejoin.
he's rejoining. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, in the meanwhile, I just wanted one buzzword that Satish has took, that is velocity. He was saying, as like I'm actually trying to change my career, so just wanted to understand this buzzword. Does this velocity means something related to resource management, or how is it? Can anyone help me out?
Velocity
It
is
is-
basically how much story points. That is basically a way of measuring how much work has been delivered by the engineering team, how it has improved over a period of whatever months or number of sprints. That is basically the term velocity. So, say for example, sprint 1, we have delivered 20 story points, and in the following sprint, we have delivered 30 story points, and we'll say that there is a 50% increase in the velocity.
So, if you have observed, sorry
please.
to add, if you observed, Robin is saying delivered. It is not how much you have taken, how much you delivered. For example, if your average velocity of, I used to give this example even to my panelists, your average velocity of eating 2 chapatis in dinner, right, out of 5 for a week of 5 days, right? So your average velocity of taking is somewhere, 2. 2 into 5, 10 divided by the average number of days. So that is your average. You cannot say I am eating 5 chapatis. You can take as much as you want, but how much you're delivering? Okay, how much you're eating up? The same way in the Scrum, in the work of when you're working in a Scrum way of working, or you can say Kanban, how much you are completing your work. Work. If anyone is well versed in Jira, there is always a chart, always velocity chart. It is completed versus commitment. Commitment is how much I committed. Completing is how much I completed. So that graph is very much suffice to read it. So yeah, please go on, sir. Yeah, please go on. Yeah.
So basically,
Yeah,
this is
sure.
example.
Go ahead, go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead. Continue the discussion.
So this is something agile term, right? Not as a waterfall term.
We cannot say
Can I say that?
agile because it's a major, it's progression or how mature my team is. See, when you are working with an industry which is service based and they're providing service to another client,
Okay.
quarterly we need to evaluate how my team member is, how my team member skill set is, right? So that they
Mm-hmm.
have some idea that okay, some measure is going on, some production, progression is going on, right?
Okay.
The same data if we give to our stakeholders or management, then hey, this is how the team is progressing. They are very much
Okay.
new to our agile way of working. Now, on the
Mm-hmm.
basis of these particular numbers, we can say that our team is very much mature enough, and slowly, steadily, it is going, gripping up the, pace. You can say in that manner. Agile never said the word velocity or something like that. Need estimation, to be honest. If we use
Okay.
agile philosophy or agile, guides, that's my analytic. But yes, Satish is there in picture, so he can better guide us how this can contradict or how this is the same page with respect to agile.
Yeah, Sai, if we talk about that waterfall or the typical project management terminology, right? So we used to
Yeah.
consider improvement aspect, right? There are a different terminology. I couldn't recollect exactly, but in the project management or typical waterfall perspective, as well, right? How we as a team improving our way of
Mm-hmm.
working from quarter to
Mm-hmm.
quarter or from year on year, right? As an
Okay.
organization or as a team, as a project, we might be having a measure of improvement,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now, because we are talking about agile and the sprint and 2 week sprint, 3 week sprint, so we are
Mm-hmm.
calculating it how a specific team, it is for a specific team, how a specific team is improving their way of working or delivering their completing their deliverables against the timelines. That is what we typically calculate as a measure of velocity.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Got it.
Right.
Thank you.
So we generally have that capacity and velocity, and we might get confused multiple times. So what happens is like the capacity is generally is like the available bandwidth, available time of the team members. I don't call resources. I'll call them team members or
Mm-hmm.
associates. So availability of your team, availability of the associates. But velocity is like the same team, how much they completed by the end of 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right. So that is what is the measure of velocity. Right? A simple
Mm-hmm.
example, generally, it's a very generic example. If we take, let's assume
Mm-hmm.
all of us went to a car dealer and we purchased the same model car,
Mm-hmm.
right? So same model, same brand, same year, everything is same. Configuration, specific, everything is same. The dealer
Mm-hmm.
typically they mention, hey, this car might be giving 20 kilometers mileage per liter, something, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
what if you are using your car for only for long trips on the highways?
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm using my car for local office traffic? And what if Robin is using his car in Bangalore traffic? I'm just taking an example, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the context, the car is same, the model specifications is same, but the usage, the way we are making use of it is different. So can we expect the same mileage because it is the same car for all of us?
No.
No. Same goes with the team,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay. Understood.
See, because we are having a 10-member team, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean every team will achieve the 70, 80 or whatever the story points velocity. It won't work that way,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
right? Another example, IPL. If you are following the cricket fans, right? So every IPL team is having the same number of batsmen, bowlers, foreign and local players. But why some teams are doing wonders? Why some teams are struggling? It's the same
Because of
team,
the
same head count, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because Sunrisers Hyderabad is doing 277, 280s. Can we expect every team to do the same? No.
No.
Or otherwise, can we expect Sunrisers also to achieve the same score every match? Even that is not possible,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Got it.
along
Yeah.
with lot of parameters, internal, external parameters, there will be multiple things come into context. The team might be capable, well-equipped, high mature team, well-established team, everything is there. But what if your product owner is not defining the backlog on time? What if your product owner is not clarifying the questions of your team? What if your dependent team is not resolving the questions of the team on time? What if the architect is not giving the approval for your code check-ins? Right? So there will be multiple internal and external factors which come into context for completion of the deliverables, which indirectly we are measuring in the form of a velocity.
Okay, got it, got it.
So our role, whether it is a Scrum Master or Agile coach or project manager, our role should be on how we can help the team identify such gaps and how we can help the team improve their way of working.
Understood. Understood.
How about others? We are good with the velocity or the topic which we are discussing?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. Yes. So that is all like, I mean, I just generally, whenever we are having a typical conversation with the stakeholders, right? We will take this car or cricket, or I mean, any sports example. If you are talking with the US teams, right? We will take the baseball or, I mean, that respective sport so that it will be easy for to discuss. Right? So why Tesla is taking that much of time, or why Indian government is taking that much of time to give the approval for Tesla? It might work in US, it might not work in India. There are the same Tesla vehicle might not work in India. Simple. So they might have to do a lot of tweaks, adjustments before releasing it to the market. And a lot of rules, regulations, guidelines. So we as a Scrum Master, we as a project manager, we as an Agile coach also might face the same challenges. If we are successful helping one Scrum team or one project or one organization, that doesn't mean we will be successful in the same in other organization as well. We need to, every time I will mention, we need, once we start a new job, we need to start looking for our supporting mechanism. Who is our 2-3 supporters who can help us get that trust, get that bonding, or get that collaboration with the team, with the stakeholders, with the organization, with the management. Right? So these are the type of questions we might get in the interviews as well. How will you handle your team? Or because Satish, because you're showcasing that you are successful leading the teams, leading the agile transformation, what's the guarantee you will be successful once you join my team or my organization? We might get even this type of questions. Right? So be prepared for all these things and make sure we are giving a relevant answer. It's not a generic answer, and that answer, whatever we are trying to mention, should be connecting back to our experience, connecting back to our previous project or previous organization experience. Right? We were discussing about the scenario-based questions before I dropped off. So whenever we get a scenario-based question, one way to answer, one way to give the explanation is bringing back our previous experience. For example, sharing that, hey, let's assume the same question which we discussed, right? What if your application was down just before you go ahead and give the demo? Just don't start with, I will do this, or I might do this, or we will work on this, something like that. Instead, try to start bringing up the previous experience. Hey, in my sprint 15 or in our sprint 15, we came across similar situation, and this is how we handled at that point of time. For our sprint 22, our product owner was sick all of a sudden. it's an unplanned sick leave, because of which the product owner is not available for sprint planning. So as a Scrum Master, along with my team, this is what we did for our sprint planning. So try to connect it back to your experience and bring the references. Like as I mentioned just now, right? Sprint 15 or sprint 22, or for this specific release, for this specific deployment, like they just try to bring in your experience or the historical reference in some or other way. That way, that is another way to showcase that, yes, this candidate is having a relevant experience. It is not just on paper experience. This specific candidate is having a real-time experience. We are good till now?
Yes.
Yes.
Another point just to add on, if not every time we might be having experience, like as Robin and Vineet and Sai mentioned, we might get some questions which we haven't experienced or which we haven't worked upon. So again, not every time, no need to bluff or no need to mention that, yes, I worked on it. Instead, we can try to mention it in a different way. There are a couple of ways. Let me share the pointers. One way is like, hey, I haven't got a chance to work on the vision document on my own. However, during our communities of practice discussion, we got to know this is how the product owners typically prepare the vision document. I haven't prepared it, but I know how it is prepared. So then we might not get too many follow-up questions. At the same time, we are not saying, hey, I don't know. We are saying I don't know or I don't have experience, but not directly saying I don't know. Instead, we are saying I haven't got a chance to work on it. However, during my interaction with my peer Scrum Masters or my product owners or whatever the role, this is how I got to know this, how that is being defined, how a vision document is defined.
But
And
yeah, sorry.
yes, Ravi. Yeah, go ahead.
If that is mentioned, then it will look like we don't have hands-on experience. So in an interview,
For that specific topic,
yeah. So
not
say
for
for
everything,
example,
right?
yeah. So for example, as a product owner, you are expected to know things about backlog, roadmap vision. So if you say
Yes.
that I have worked with maybe a senior person in product, and this is what they have done, then it shows that we are observing, but we don't have hands-on experience. So will that be favorable in an interview, or will it be that he's more of an observer? He observes things, but he does not know. We don't know that will the candidate be able to perform if he has to do the task. So I'm just thinking that will that look favorable if we mention that I've observed someone, but I haven't done it myself?
That depends upon the role we are applying for Robin, right? So my question is more goes with the Vineet's question, where they expected Scrum Master to prepare the roadmap.
Okay. Got it.
See, ideally, it is not expected for a Scrum Master to prepare a roadmap, but he got a question, hey, have you prepared the roadmap? Do you know how to define roadmap? Right?
Yeah.
Yes, to your question, Robin, coming back, right? So if you're applying for product owner role, and if you are saying that I don't know how to prepare a vision or a roadmap or backlog, then it is a risk.
Got it. Because the way I'm seeing it is that if we mention, let me just hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, it will just look like we are not experienced enough. Even if it is part of our expectation, it might not look experienced if we say that we look onto or we lean onto someone else's shoulder. So coming back to something that you mentioned, those scenario-based questions, right? So say, for example, I'm a Scrum Master. We have not been able to start the year, this quarter, or what not. Because before a backlog, we need to talk about vision, things that we plan to do in the year or the quarter, etc. And that is something that the product team has not shared with stakeholders, the team, etc. So we are not able to move forward. So here the expectation will be, a scenario will be that how can a Scrum Master perhaps support the product owner in order to create a vision or roadmap so that work can start. So if I turn it into a, how can a Scrum Master support?
Yes, right. So the way the question is being expected, or the that experience is being expected, or the way the question is asked, the role matters in this context.
Got it.
Right.
But again,
So,
it will be more about supportive. It is not the expectation of the Scrum Master to do it, but he can kind of
Exactly.
support with articles, documents, any experience of his past. But it is not, it is the product owner's accountability rather than the Scrum Masters.
Exactly. And again, coming back to your question, that vision statement, right? So we can mention that as a Scrum Master, I worked on everything else except helping the product owner with coming up with a vision. Because till now, I have every time the product owner used to come up with that, but this time it's a new product owner. So I haven't got a chance to work on how to define or how to help the product owner with the vision statement. For that context, I reached out to my agile coach or maybe the senior Scrum Master who helped us in getting this defined.
Okay.
Does it sound good, Robin?
Like you are, it shows your ability that you are not restricting yourself. You are going up out of your reach to find out an answer to help your team member.
Exactly. Right.
Collaboration, all of those things. Yeah.
Collaboration and capability to ask for help. That it indirectly, that is showcasing in our answer.
Got it. Yes. Thank you.
Right. So we will say that, hey, I'm a team worker and team player. How? Yes, this is how we will showcase that.
Brilliant.
Or
Good.
we will simply say that in our resume, most of us might be mentioning we are a continuous learner. How? Yes, this time, the first time in your context, yes, we reached out to the agile coach or the senior Scrum Master for the help. For the next quarter, you as a Scrum Master worked along with your product owner to come up with the vision for the Q2 or maybe the next year. Right? So what are the statements we mention as a strength or everything? No need to explicitly call out. By the way we give the answer, it will indirectly reflect to the panelists. These are the things which the panelists will be focusing on. It's not what we are answering, but the way we are answering and how it is connecting back one way to the job description, because they are trying to see whether Robin or Shashank or Vineet or Sai or Satish or Bala can be a fit for their specific organization project context. The other way, the experience and the pointers which you mentioned in the resume is it realistic? Is it relevant? Or is it just a copy paste? We are good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Satish.
So, Vineet, does that answer your question as well? For how?
Yes, actually it does. I was a little confused when this question was asked to me, whether it was Scrum Master's responsibility or PO's. I thought it was PO's only. That's why I said that I have not done it myself, but the PO would be doing it mostly. So I don't think that was a very good answer as such. But still, I think the way you approach to that question, I think that is a better one, where you can say that instead of saying I don't know, you say that this was a scenario where roadmap was not there, and I took help of my seniors or other team members to come up with it.
Exactly. Right. So, see, it is like our typical Indian mentality, right? So, we will be keen listeners whenever someone say, hey, I don't know. So let's try to
Yeah.
avoid that answer. I don't know. Instead, the same thing we can mention in a different polished way. To be frank.
Correct.
Are we good till now?
Yes, please
Hope
go ahead.
I think like the discussion is helpful for all of you.
Yeah, the examples are really good. That really helps.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah,
This is what
even I
I
agree.
mentioned. Like I won't give the answer. Like because if I give the answer again, I will get a call next time or message. Satish, I got a follow-up question. What shall I answer? No. I generally give this example. Munnabai MBBS, not MBBS. Lagera for Munnabai. I don't want to be Gandhi in that movie. Right? Hope all of you watched that movie, Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt? Yes. Right? Where that fellow, the hero, will be answering whatever Gandhi is prompting from the back. The moment he get a question, different question, he won't be able to answer. Why? Because no, let's don't be depend on someone's prompt.
Yep.
So the interesting conversation came up, the prompt. Let's make use of the next 10-15 minutes, how we can make use of the AI tools for getting prepared for interview. Shall we go ahead? Or any questions before we go ahead with that?
No, please continue.
Okay. Let me start sharing my screen. Where is that? Okay. Let me start a new chart. Okay. See, I am using all these for different things. So let's use, I'm using a free version, not even a paid version. So I will start. I consider yourself as a interview expert for Scrum Master role. Help me with interview questions for Scrum Master role with 4 years of experience. Let's see what happens. See, even the chat GPT is giving scenario-based questions. Can you describe a challenging situation you encountered as a Scrum Master and how you resolved it? How do you handle conflicts within the team or between team members? Can you walk through the approach, your approach to facilitating sprint planning meetings? Right? In what ways do you encourage continuous improvement within the team and the organization's agile practices? Like that, it gave me some 15 questions. We can continue asking like, can you add another 15 questions, something like that, or we can start making use of these and start listing down again. These are the different situations. These are the different scenarios, right? So start making use of this and how you can answer these type of questions if you get in the interviews. Again, don't look for answers from ChatGPT. Just look for the questions so that you can start bringing in your experience in your words. Right? Okay, let me add some more thing. Help me with the additional scenario-based interview questions with just changing 6 years of experience. Let's see, it might give a different questions. See, during a sprint retrospective, one team member consistently dominates the conversation, making it difficult for others to voice their opinions. How would you address this situation? See, the ChatGPT is doing half the work, which I mentioned to you to do that initially. Right? So start making use of these. situations and make a note and start having that discussions on your own. If you observe, these are retrospective. This is the during the sprint execution. This is the sprint planning, but conflict within the sprint planning, right? And this is for the sprint review and retrospective. Fails to complete all the plan work during each sprint, right? And a key stakeholder insists on attending every sprint review meeting. And the team identifies several improvement opportunities, but they seem overwhelmed by number of action items. So how would you prioritize and facilitate the implementation? And the team is starting to experience signs of burnout, the diverse backgrounds, the different time zones. These are the typical challenges every organization goes through. Right. So try to come up with this type of situations. Start listing down your own answers. Start preparing by your own. Thanks, Robin. Right, we are good. You are getting an idea how we can make use of these, the tools or the prompts to get prepared. We can ask like, help me with 30 scenario based questions, or help me with an agile coach related question, help me with the project manager interview questions. Some they will add the company name as well. I don't, I mean, I never tried that, or I never did that. Or some they will copy paste the job description as well. State that, hey, consider yourself as an interview expert for project manager role. Help me with the scenario based interview questions for the below job description. And they will copy paste the entire job description and they will give it as a prompt to the ChatGPT or any tool. We can make use of the free tool itself. No need of the paid versions. Right? We are good. I will copy paste these prompts in the document and I will share the document. Of course, it's not a full document, but at least it can help you to get started. Very good. Any questions?
Yeah, Satish, I mean, good that you actually diverting the answers, saying like before we experience this one, but what exactly is what should be the probability of answers? If that is the case, then I mean, I have never attended Scrum Master interview, but so if this is the case, like I don't know what exactly needs to be done. Say suppose like there is no PO and SMA is there available, is not there from the Scrum meeting or a sprint review. So what exactly needs to be done in that case? I am not sure on that. So in that case, how I can able to get answers?
Let's assume. Let's try to answer this now itself. Like, see, like, what do you think might happen? Worst case.
Worst case could be like we will be planning for the next some other day.
Some other day. Okay. What could be the best case?
To jot down, like discuss with the team and jot down what we need to discuss and what are the priority items.
Exactly. So as a team, max to max, if not 100% of the backlog, at least the team might be aware of some scope.
Correct.
Right? Let them start working on it. And let's have the follow planning or the remaining scope prioritization as and when the next product owner is available. And it's not a dummy situation. It happened actually during one of the during the COVID, right? These are the situations. Everything is coming maximum from COVID. Why? We will ask why product owner is not available, why Scrum Master is not available, why both of them are not available on the same day. What if both both got impacted by COVID and both are not available just on the sprint planning day. See, if it is a planned thing, we might do something else. But if it is not, what if? Right? So
Yeah.
that's where all these things are started coming up, right? So yes. Now you yourself got to know what's the worst scenario and the best scenario. Let's go ahead with the best scenario. See, the team will go ahead with the known scope and we will schedule the follow-up conversation with the product owner as and when he is available. Simple. Of course, it's not the recommended, it's not the realistic, but at the same time, the panelist might be stressing that, hey, we can't postpone or we can't reschedule the sprint planning. The team should start the sprint.
Yeah, that could be a follow-up question.
Yes, I'm there as a the co-panelist in the discussion. So the another panelist is stressing that, hey, the sprint planning should happen the same day. Sprint planning should happen the same day. We can't postpone. The candidate asks, hey, what's the logic or what's the reason why the team can't postpone the sprint planning? Then he started the follow-up question that, oh no, because this team has some dependencies. So the dependent teams are expecting this team to start working on the dependencies. Well, good enough. At least the team know that they have some dependencies. The team will start with that working on the dependencies.
Yeah, this could be the answer. Yeah.
With the known scope of work, the team will start and the team will go ahead with that. That is one answer. The other answer, just to add on a little bit of flavor to that, as a Scrum Master, our role is expected to be to let the team be self-organized, self-managed, which means because Scrum Master is not there, the team should not stop doing any work or any event. It's not about the work, any event, which means the sprint planning sheet or any document, anything should be available to the team. Anyone in the team should be able to facilitate that sprint planning or sprint retrospective or anything in the absence of Scrum Master. They should be able to capable of. This is a continuation to that answer, Pawan.
Right.
The reason why I mentioned the second answer, right? So there is a logic behind that. Let's assume, again, this goes back to the years of experience we are climbing as a Scrum Master for that respective organization, for that respective team. One of the interview, we got a candidate that he was working as a Scrum Master for same team for 3 years.
Right.
Right. So he was mentioning that the same question came up. Right, for this candidate as well. Then he's like, no, I have to be there. I mean, my team won't be able to do the sprint planning without me. Boss, what is it you're doing as a Scrum Master?
So it shows
Simple.
like for 3 years they are not working or not making them to work as a self-organized team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now the next question, it's not a question. The next statement the panelist made is, boss, thanks. We got to know that your team can't work without you.
Right.
For that reason, we are not hiring you. You continue with your team. Simple. Right? We need to understand that logic. We can't showcase that, hey, I'm the gem, I'm the Superman. Without me, nothing will work. No. So slowly, steadily, we need to help the team be self-organized, self-managed, irrespective of whether we are there or not. Of course, we should be there, but even if we are stuck with something or if we are busy with something else or not available, the team should be still able to capable of doing their own things. You're getting the points, Pawan?
Yes. Now I can able to.
Yes.
sort of
This
find
is how.
answers.
Yes, this is how start correlating and connecting the dots. You're getting right. So this is what I'm telling about the follow-up questions.
Right.
The moment we give an answer, 90% probability we might get a follow-up question. 90%.
Yeah, Satish. The other thing could be like someone asked in our team itself, like what are the metrics that we share to the to our senior management? So we say like burn down, burn up charts, but do we really share them, or it is only for the sake of our to know our progress?
Ideally, typically, we need to ask or we need to understand what's the reason any specific metric is measured or shared.
Right.
Yes, please. Hello.
Yes, Praveen. Yes.
One question was there in my mind.
Yeah,
Actually,
let me finish up Pawan's
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and we'll come there. Yeah.
sorry.
So sure. Yeah, we'll take it up. We'll take it up. So Pawan, like see the metrics, any metrics, right? It's not what we are sharing with the stakeholders. What's the benefit the stakeholder will get by sharing that metric,
Okay.
right? So burn up chart, or sprint report or velocity chart. What's the benefit the stakeholder will get or might get by sharing that information with them? We need to understand that. Ideally, we need to ask them, hey, let's suppose I'm your stakeholder. You need to come and ask me, Satish, how or what could be the logic or reason you can get the benefit by reviewing or by referring to the burn down chart of the team? Or are you expecting something else instead of the burn down chart?
Okay.
Right? See, the burn down, burn up, sprint report, velocity chart, these are the default charts, default reports. We can even directly, the tool itself will generate,
Yeah,
whether it
tool
is
itself will
Jira,
generate.
Azure DevOps Rally. We are not preparing, we are not generating it. We need to just share that link with the stakeholders through email or through dashboard or through the meeting or whatever it is. That's it. We are not preparing it. So there will be tons of reports or information which is available in Jira. So we need to understand what information could be helpful for the stakeholder, and accordingly we can share that information. I don't call it as a metric, it's an information for them. They might expect, hey, how are we doing on the release progress? Let's suppose it's a quarterly release. How is it going to impact or help me if the team delivered 50 story points, but the release progress is still showing only 10% is done? We are in the 5th sprint. The next sprint is a sprint release, the target date. What shall I do with the velocity when the team is missing the release? Right?
Correct.
Got the point?
Yes.
Yes. Are you good with that metrics question, Pawan?
Yes, Satish. Yeah, I got it.
Sure. Yeah. Praveen, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this is very silly question. Actually,
No question
one
is silly. No question is silly.
actually one interviewer asked me that question. He asked me that ki Praveen, your team is now suppose is self-managed and self-organized. So what is your requirement? Why I will pay 12 lakh or 13 lakh or 14 lakh to you? What your how you will justify your salary?
Exactly. That's the reason you're paying me the 12 lakh, 13 lakh, or whatever the salary.
Yeah.
I, as a Scrum Master, help your team to become self-organized, self-managed.
Now they
Yeah.
are self organized and self managed. Now
Exactly.
what is your requirement?
What is my requirement? I will continue with the next set of teams, or I will work with multiple teams to work together with them. If one team is self-organized, that's not the only team in the organization. You can continue with the next set of team. Not generally what happens is like you will start taking up the additional teams, which means the first team is self-organized, self-managed. You will be still there as and when required. You will start taking up the second team, which is starting new or which is in the storming stage or norming stage. so that you will focus more on the second team, and you will still be there working with the first team as and when required. And if you're really capable, you will take the third team as well. Whereas second team and third team is the brand new teams which are getting established, and the first team is still well established. I mean, self-organized team. So indirectly, you're increasing your scope of work, which means now you can showcase, hey, till now I'm working as a Scrum Master for one team. Now I'm capable of playing the role of Scrum Master for 3 teams, which means I'm eligible for a role change as a senior Scrum Master.
Okay.
Now, it's not you paying me 13 lakhs. You might have to pay me more.
Hmm. Okay, that's great. Actually, he told me that ki, Praveen, we are having only 2 agile team, 2 Scrum team, and parallelly you are already facilitating both the team. Then now what you will do? So that time I was stuck. Though it was actually first interview when I was started. So I was stuck that time. And but yes, it's always in my mind that how what actual answer will be there so that my interviewer get impressed for that from that.
No. There is no actual answer for this. Let me share my screen once again. I'm bringing up the Scrum guide. Okay. Oh. Yeah. See, the Scrum Master serves the team in several ways, including they gave the list of pointers. Scrum Master serves the product owner in several ways, including this. The Scrum Master serves the organization in several ways. So it's not just the Scrum team. The
Okay.
Scrum Master is not just focused on a Scrum team. Right? It is directly coming from the Scrum guide.
Yes.
Guys, just be prepared with this Scrum guide like anything. Oh, the panelist might not be ready or might not be having an idea. You can mention, hey, as a Scrum Master, my role is not just for the Scrum team. Then I will work more close with the product owner so that they can help the team come up with the backlog well in a defined, well matured way, well defined way. Along with that, I will work at the organization level and I will take up these additional things. It's not just the team. Now, as a Scrum Master, you can help the stakeholders as well understand the agile way of working. And you can remove barriers between stakeholders and Scrum teams. There might be only 2 Scrum teams in the organization. If your 2 Scrum teams are well matured, well established, then yes, you as a Scrum Master start focusing outside the team.
That's
right.
Yes.
Simple. Right? Are you good?
Yeah, it's very nice actually. It's now in my mind actually.
That's it. See,
how I should answer for that.
we get this question every time. Even I will get that question. Hey, as an agile coach, what will you do? Boss, as an agile coach, my role is not just for at the Scrum team level or Kanban team level. I have a lot of scope. I will work with the budgeting team. I will work with the finance team, or I will work with the HR team to improve the onboarding process. I will work with the budgeting team to get that quarterly budgeting instead of yearly budgeting, or I'll work with architects to get that the review and approval process simplified or smoothen up. I'll work with the DevOps team. I'll work with the tools team. There are lots of scope within a given organization.
That's good idea actually.
Simple, right? You're good?
Very good.
Guys, if in case you haven't or you're not, refer to Scrum Guide at least once a week. At least once a week. Or make sure you refer it before going for interview at least 2 times. All these things will help in the interviews, the questions like this. Simple. No need to break our heads. We'll say, hey, as per Scrum Guide, yes, my role is not just at the team level. I will work with this. I will work with this. I can still work at this level. or I will take up additional scope of helping the product owner or helping the organization level. Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Are you good? Hey,
Yeah.
sure. Any last minute questions? I need to drop off for another meeting in 5 minutes. Before that, any follow-up questions or any last minute questions?
Satish, I have a doubt. Can a candidate like me, who's trying to switch career into project management, so
Hmm?
is it feasible? Rather getting into project manager, can he switch into Scrum Master? Is it that path is good enough?
Right now, Scrum Master roles are becoming tricky,
Mhm.
right? So the existing candidates itself is having challenge,
Okay.
right? So instead, and the number of roles is also coming down. The reason, just now as Praveen mentioned, right? So the teams are getting mature. So the
Okay.
organizations are not expecting 1:1, which means one team and one Scrum Master. No, that's not the expectation. The organizations are expecting either 2-3 teams for one Scrum Master, or one Scrum Master, one individual working on different roles like Scrum Master and the project manager or
Okay.
something else like that. So dedicated Scrum Master roles are coming down, the
So,
number of requirements.
so to just to understand, you're trying to make situations open. I mean, options open,
Exactly.
not in not
Yes.
in a very specific domain. I mean, role open for as a project manager and Scrum Master in terms
Yes.
of requirement of role.
Exactly. And in that way, you will get a, we have to wrap up, but just one small thing. In that way, when we are applying for multiple roles, we need to be clear about how we bifurcate the roles. What's the thin line of difference between the project manager versus a scrum master? Because as a scrum master, you won't be having any authority or control on the team. But if you are the same individual working as a project manager as well for the same team, you will be
Mhm.
still having authority or control. So how will you bifurcate that roles? How will you differentiate that roles? You will get the questions on that.
Okay. Okay.
And not everyone is successful in playing dual roles. If I take
Mm-hmm.
a simple cricket example, I'm not against any player. I'm just giving an example just for understanding. Sachin and Sehwag, they came down from captaincy in a short duration. They are successful as a batsman. They are like very good, excellent batsmen, but they came down from the captaincy within a short duration. I don't remember the duration, but yes, right. Whereas Dhoni, he will be like a batsman, wicket keeper, captain, the same individual playing multiple roles, successful, and still he is helping the team as well succeed and win the matches. You're getting the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
So we should be showcasing that capability, or we should be able to showcase that, yes, I'm capable of playing these dual roles, or I already played, or I have this experience in handling for a duration or for a specific project, something like that. You need to bring up if in case you don't have the actual experience of playing dual roles in your previous experience.
Okay.
And you should be ready, like how we will do the justice or justification for both the roles.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Right? Another example, like Mumbai Indians, like even though Rohit Sharma is not captain, still people are considering him as captain. Like they're not following, or what are the reasons, right? Hardik is having trouble.
Correct.
Yes, simple. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay then.
And one more to the initial discussion what I raised. Having getting into project manager, is it required to be what all the technology parts? Is it fine extending this thing, or is it?
We can discuss in another discussion or maybe one-on-one. Technology part is like they're expecting maybe Java or that relevant technology, not the Microsoft project planning.
Okay, okay.
Might
Still,
be,
it's a
might
tool.
be. They
if
might.
I'm not-
No, not the tool.
Okay,
The technical aspects of the team.
okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Are you good?
Fine.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
I'll
Thanks for
connect with
joining
you.
in the short duration. I will send the recording to your registered email address and we can have follow-up conversations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Satish.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.